Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. It has been a little bit since we have been at my desk for a Shop My Stash. I meant to post these every other week, but life has been super chaotic lately. My husband and I are actually getting ready to move. We close on our new home on March 2nd, so very quickly here. So I'm going to be doing another Shop My Stash today. I'll go through all the products that I was using, but everything that I select today is going to be the products that I will use to get me through until we move. And then once we get to our new home, I will do another Shop My Stash. So these, whatever I choose today, will need to last me about the next 3 weeks or so. So I'm going to keep that in mind, obviously, when I'm selecting my products, because everything else I'm hoping to get packed up and ready to go. Okay, so starting in this first acrylic organizer, I do have two now where I store all of the products that I am focused on. So in the top drawer, we have first from Touch in Sol the No Problem Prime Essence, which I'm going to keep going. I have this going in my whole collection project pan and I am trying to use it up. So I'm going to keep this in. I also had selected the Origins Pore Perfecting Cooling Primer. I did get some good use out of this and I'm going to put this away for the time being. I'm also going to put my Ulla Henriksen Banana Bright Face Primer away for the time being and just focus on some primers that are currently going in my project. I do really like this face primer. I think it's a really nice face primer if you like to have a glow or a bit of illumination to your skin. I like it better than some of the other ones that I've tried because I feel like it looks a little bit more natural, but it obviously definitely does give you a glow. So this is something that I would consider repurchasing in a full size when I finish this, but for right now, I'm going to put it away. And then I also have my e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer, which I'm working on in my Partners in Cream project, so I'm going to keep this going. I have been mixing my L'Oreal Infallible Pro Matte Foundation with my Physicians Formula Healthy Glow, which was actually sitting on top of my other acrylic organizer. This is going in one of my projects and I'm so close to finishing this. I'm going to keep this going in my project, or I'm going to keep this out in my Shop My Stash so that hopefully maybe with some very consistent use the next few weeks I can just finish this up. And then I will keep my Pro Matte in as well, just because I like the way that these two mix together. And then the Revlon Candid Foundation is currently going in my Partners in Cream project, so I am going to keep this in as well. I feel like I could get some good use out of this the next few weeks as I'm like running errands, because this isn't the longest lasting foundation, but if I'm just going to run errands, I do like to use this. And I also like to use this when I go to the gym, so hoping maybe I can get some consistent use out of this the next few weeks as well and get closer to completing this. Okay, in the second drawer I have concealer, powder, and bronzer. So starting with concealers, I have this Hourglass concealer, which I purchased in January. I have fallen in love with this, but I am going to put this away because I have gotten so much use out of this. My Josie Maran Vibrancy Concealer is currently going in a project, so I'm going to keep this in, but I am going to put back my Jouer Concealer. I forgot when I pulled this in that this is more my summer shade, so it is a little bit darker. I was mixing it with that Josie Maran because the Josie Maran Concealer is a little bit yellow, and mixed with this, I felt like it looked closer to my skin tone, but like I said, I'm going to put this away for the time being. I had my Glossier Water, which I purchased in January because I wanted to continue to test this out. I do really like this powder. I think it's really nice. It's a really nice lightweight powder. It doesn't look cakey on the skin, but I'm going to put this away until after we move and just focus on my Too Faced Born This Way Ethereal Setting Powder, which I have right here. This is currently going on a project, and I figure this is a perfect time for me to just focus on this and get some good use out of this again so that I can get closer and closer to finishing this up. Okay, over here, 3 of the 5 bronzers are currently going in projects and I'm going to keep them in. I'm going to keep my Ulta Sculpting Stick going. I'm also going to keep my Tarte Park Avenue Princess Bronzer going. I'm going to give you guys a little spoiler alert. Look at all that pan that I have going on this. This did not have pan at the beginning of the year, so I'm really excited to have seen some great progress with this, and I'm just going to try and continue that throughout the next few weeks. I also have the Kevyn Aucoin Sculpting Powder in a project, and I'm going to continue to work on this as well. I do really like this for days that I'm filming and going for a more sculpted look. Still no pan on this, but maybe if I get some consistent use the next few weeks, we can see some pan. So then I am going to put my Too Faced Chocolate Soleil bronzer back. I do really enjoy this, but I did get some good use out of this, as well as my Fenty Beauty bronzer. I really do love this bronzer as well. This is a little bit more light. This will probably not work for me in the summer, but I'm going to put this away for the time being and select a different bronzer to work on until we move. Okay, in the bottom drawer on this side, I have some eyeshadow palettes. These two are currently going in my Pan Those eyeshadows, and then I also have this Too Faced Palm Springs palette, which I've gotten some good use out of. I've been working on testing this out so I can review it in a Makeup Monthly. I would still like to keep this going because there's just a couple more shades I want to play around with before I give it my full review, so I'm going to keep this in as well. Okay, so then moving over to the second acrylic organizer, I have like a ton of stuff going on up here. The Wander Beauty Nude Illusion Foundation is going in a project. Physicians Formula Foundation going in a project. Ofra Primer going in a project. And then again, just some miscellaneous sprays. I'm just going to keep everything going that's currently sitting on top of these. So pulling out this top drawer, we have my blush. Let's see, my Flower Beauty blush bombs are going in a project, so I'll keep these in. My Hourglass Mood Exposure is also going in a project, and it's just like the perfect blush to always have on hand, so I would keep that in anyway. The rest of these I'm going to put back for the time being and grab some different blush to play with. I did get some good use out of my Cover FX Warm Honey Blush. This is such a beautiful blush. Also, I had my Ciate London blush pulled in Date Night. This is also a really beautiful blush, especially for this time of year. Buxom Seychelles I actually think I will just keep because I love this blush, my favorite nude blush of all time. I don't want to pack this up yet, so we're going to keep this going. And then also I have this MAC blush in Melba, a really pretty, easy to wear. Wow. There it is swatched right there. It's a really easy to wear, just neutral blush, but I did get some use out of this the last rotation, so I'm ready to put this back. Okay, so then in the middle drawer, I had my highlighters. I did get a ton of use, like a ton of use out of this Lancome highlighting palette. I picked this up during the holidays. I really like mixing Frosted Rose with Sparkling Peach. Gross, there's a hair. I don't know, I've just really been enjoying, wow. I've just really been enjoying that combo. Frosted Rose also on its own. I just love pinky highlights for some reason, and I think this one is beautiful. But because I did get so much use out of this, I swear this was like primarily the only thing I was reaching for. I am going to be putting this back. I also have my ColourPop Lunch Money highlight. This I'm going to keep going. This is like basically an unofficially trying to use up product, and I really love using this on the inner corner or like wearing this as my highlight on days where I'm wearing this to the gym, so I'm going to keep this going. I also got a fair amount of use out of this Makeup Forever highlight. This is in shade number 1. It's another beautiful pink tone highlight, but I love it. So even though I love it, I did get good use out of it. Time to put it back. I used this one from Hourglass a couple of times. This is in Euphoric Strobe Light. It's more of a champagne highlight. You can have this one be subtle, but you can also build it up to be more intense. Even though I only used it a couple times, I am going to put this one back for the time being. And then finally, I had this one from Milk Makeup. This is their Flex highlighter, and I have mine in the shade Lit, which I love. It's a really beautiful highlighter. Very interesting formula. It actually almost feels like wet or like bouncy to the touch. I think it's a beautiful highlight. It looks very wet and glossy on the skin. It is more intense, so I don't know, I just don't feel like I'm going to be reaching for intense highlights the next few weeks, so I think I'm ready to put this back for a little bit. Okay, and then in this bottom drawer is where I completely failed. I don't know if I reached for anything in this drawer. I had my ABH Glow Kit in Sweets. I'm going to keep this in because I didn't use it. I also didn't use my Smashbox Cali Contour Kit, so I'm going to keep this in as well. I didn't reach for my Lorac blush palette. This was a limited edition holiday blush palette. I do really love all the blushes in here, and even though I didn't use it, I am going to put it away right now just because I already know I barely reach for anything in this drawer. So I'm going to put it back so I don't maybe feel as overwhelmed. I received this Wander Beauty Trip for Two face palette in my BoxyCharm, but did not reach for this. So I think I will continue to keep this in my drawer so that hopefully I can get some use out of it, give it a test, kind of give my thoughts and opinions. Then I had this Ace Beauté single. I am just going to put this away for right now because I just don't see myself reaching for this in the next few weeks, even though it is really, really beautiful. Like really, really beautiful. I have a couple other singles that I'm focused on, and then everything going in my Pan Those eyeshadows. So I'm just going to put this away until after we are moved. I had also pulled this Kaja Trio, which I didn't reach for at all. Shame on me. I'm going to keep this going because I feel like I could create a really, really pretty, because this is February, the month of love, and I feel like pink eyeshadow just works for this month. So hoping that I can actually get some use out of this in February. And then I also had the Stila Glitter and Glow in Perlina. I'm going to keep this going. I want to use this more because it is very beautiful. I just have not been reaching for products like this recently, but I'm going to try and use it at least, we'll say 2 times before the next rotation. Okay, so that was everything that I was focused on the last rotation. Now let's shop my stash. Okay, starting in this drawer first, this has all of my Project Pan items. So I am going to pull in this Joseph Colors Single Shadow. I just pulled this into my Roulette Pan collab. That video should have gone up yesterday, so want to focus on this. I'm also going to grab my CoverGirl Vitalist Healthy Elixir Foundation. I feel like this will be a good one to get a little bit of use out of before moving. I've barely made any progress on this yet this year, so if this is one of my only foundations to choose from, hopefully I can get some good use out of this. This also has been discontinued, so once this is gone, it's gone, which is so sad because I do actually really enjoy this foundation. I am going to pull my Becca little mini Rose Quartz highlighter. I really love this highlight, and this will be my pinky highlight for this rotation. I also may as well just pull in Mary Lou. Sometimes I'll mix Mary Lou and Rose Quartz, and I really like the way that looks as well. Or I'll use Mary Lou as an inner corner highlight. Even if it hasn't been like necessarily in rotation, I've reached into this drawer to reach for this highlighter, so I may as well just pull this into my actual stash. You guys would have heard in my whole collection Project Pan update that I didn't reach into this at all the first month of the project, so I'm going to pull this into my stash, so hopefully it reminds me to actually get some use out of it. I'm currently working on this middle shade, which is very, very bright, but I'm wearing it today, and I was able to mix it with this to make it a little bit more subtle, and then it gives it some luminosity, and I really like the way it looks, so hoping to get some more use out of this. In this drawer I also have like my mascaras right there, which I just let sit in this drawer, but other than that, I think we're just gonna call it good on this drawer. Now let's go through and shop the rest of my makeup collection. Okay, you guys, starting with primer and foundation, I don't want to overwhelm myself and grab too much. So I think for primer, the only thing I'm going to grab is this little mini Becca First Light priming filter. This is obviously just a little mini. I'm wondering if I can just finish this off before we move. It would be really nice to move another primer out of my collection. So this can be the one sort of like illuminating primer I keep out. You know what, in case I get through this, I will just also pull in my Flower Beauty In Your Prime illuminating primer. This is one of the older primers in my collection, so I want to move this out of my collection this year. So if I finish the Becca one, at least I have another option for illuminating primers. And then as far as foundation is concerned, I really don't feel like I need to grab too much because I already have so much going in projects, etc. I think the only one I want to grab is this one, which I recently picked up from CoverGirl. This is their new Clean Fresh Skin Milk Foundation. You may have heard me recently review this in my favorites and fails for January, and I actually put this in the fail category. I don't like this foundation on its own, but I do actually really enjoy it mixed with that CoverGirl Vitalist Healthy Elixir foundation. So I'm going to pull this so that I can mix those two, but I think I will call it good on foundation then. So then moving into powder and concealer, I really don't feel like I want to grab anything for powder. I can just have the one powder from Too Faced that I can focus on. For concealer, I'm just going to grab one that I know I love that can get me through if I'm not loving any of the other concealers I have set aside. This is the Laura Mercier Flawless Fusion Ultra Longwear Concealer. It's more of a like light to medium buildable coverage, and I just love this concealer. So even if this was the only concealer I was able to wear, I would know that I would be happy with it. So I will pull this and we'll call it good for this drawer. Okay, actually I lied. I do also want to pull my Ulta Beauty Full Coverage Liquid Concealer in case I'm wanting something a little bit more full coverage that I know I can rely on. I also do really love this concealer, so I will pull those 2 concealers and then call it good. Okay, moving into my bronzer drawer, I'm going to grab the NARS Diffused Bronzer in Laguna. This is just like the Laguna bronzer, but it's the diffused formula, so it's not quite as intense or not quite as pigmented. You can build it up a little bit more, which I really do like, and this is one that is a little bit lighter on me, so I really can only get away with this not in the summertime, so in the fall and winter. So perfect time for me to reach for this. And I think after this one, this should be good for bronzer. So then moving into my blush drawer, I recently received the Diffused Heat blush from Hourglass. I love the Hourglass blush formula, and this one looks like it's just going to be a really nice, beautiful, like light pink. I don't even know if you can see it swatched there, but these are a little bit more luminous, which I also do like from time to time. So I'm really excited to try this out. And then I'm also going to grab this one from Flower Beauty. This is in the shade Sweet Pea. This is a beautiful mauve toned blush that I do typically tend to prefer more this time of year. So perfect time for me to pull this out. And I do think I should be good on blush after that. Moving on to highlighters. My daughter recently kind of went through my highlighter drawer, so it's looking a little bit messy. I'm just going to grab 2, one champagne one and one pink toned one. For the pink tone, I'm going to grab this one from Bobbi Brown. This is in the shade Pink Glow, one of my favorite pink toned highlighters. I feel like I actually say that about all my pink tone highlighters, but I do really love this highlight. So I'm going to grab this. And then as far as a champagne highlight is concerned, I'm going to grab actually 2. First, I'm going to grab this Natasha Denona Glow. This was going in my project pan last year, my year long, and obviously I hit pan, but I do really love this highlight and I know I can count on it. So perfect champagne highlight for the next few weeks. And then if I want to switch it up, I will also pull in this one from Dior. This is their shade number 1 nude highlighter. Such a beautiful, luxurious formula, and I haven't reached for this in quite some time, so I'm really excited to show this one some more love. Okay, we're going to skip the next 2 drawers, which would have been my single shadows and kind of like mascara and eyeliner, because I don't need any new mascara and I don't need to pull any eyeliner. You guys know for eyeliner I just use whatever matches my eye look. So moving into the face palette drawer, I do want to pull one face palette. I want to pull this Tarte blush palette. Even though I just took away my Lorac one because I didn't want to overwhelm myself with blush, I forgot I wanted to pull this because I haven't reached for this in the longest time. I was considering decluttering, but then I swatched and remembered how much I actually do like this palette. So I'm going to pull this and I will have plenty of blush options. All right, you guys, and then in my bottom drawer, I have my new stuff drawer. So this is stuff that you wouldn't have seen yet on my channel. So obviously, as you can see, I decided to pick up the Natasha Denona Love Glow Cheek Palette. I could not resist. I mean, seriously, how pretty is this? So obviously I'm going to pull this and play with this the next few weeks. I was so excited to get this. I don't know, mostly for the packaging, but also very excited to play with the products inside. I've swatched, but I haven't put anything on my face, so I'm really excited about this guy. I don't know how wearable this will be, but honestly, this is something that's worth it for the packaging for me. I just think it is so beautiful. I also recently picked up the Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Acid Setting Mist from ColourPop, which I'm really excited about. So I'm going to pull this in because I'm almost through 2 of my current setting sprays. I almost have my Glow Recipe Watermelon Mist finished up, which is good because I just received a brand new one in BoxyCharm. And then I'm almost done with one of my MAC Fix Pluses. So I am going to pull this in. And finally, I'm going to pull the NARS Sheer Glow Foundation. I'll actually pull both foundations that I recently brought in. So the Smashbox Studio Skin foundation as well. I've owned this in the past, but in the complete wrong shade. So I'm really excited to try this in a shade that should match me, and very excited to try both of those foundations. But after that, we do have full drawers and a full desk again. Plenty of makeup to get me through the next 3 weeks until we move, but I'm already excited about the new house, my new room to film in. Like, I literally am so excited. So I cannot wait for my next Shop My Stash coming from my new house. I just truly cannot wait. I will share more with you guys in an upcoming Get Ready With Me, but I hope that you enjoyed today's Shop My Stash. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know what products you are currently working on. And other than that, thank you guys so much for sticking around to watch today's video and supporting my channel, and I'll catch you in my next one.